She put the T in LGBTQIA, yet most people don't know who she is. Long before transgender people broke into mainstream media, there was an iconic trans activist who challenged everything and everyone. Society, police officers, even members of her own community.
Y'all better quiet down!
Her name was Sylvia Rivera.
I was born July 2nd, 1951, at 2:30 in the morning in a taxi cab in the old Lincoln Hospital parking lot.
Born to Venezuelan and Puerto Rican parents, Sylvia ended up in the care of her grandmother at the age of 3.
My grandmother used to come home and find me all dressed up. I get my ass whipped. Of course, well, we don't do this. You're one of the boys. I want you to be a mechanic. I said, no, but I want to be a hairdresser, and I want to wear these clothes.
But Sylvia would not be discouraged. She walked into the 4th grade wearing makeup at a time when the word transgender didn't even exist.
You got to be who you are.
Unwilling to change who she was, Rivera struck out on her own in 1961 at the age of 10. During this time, the civil rights movement took off along with the peace movement and second wave feminism. But while all of these movements eventually entered the mainstream, the transgender rights movement remained on the fringe even within the gay community. Sylvia struggled with homelessness and drug addiction, and like many runaways and queer youth did at the time, she became a sex worker in order to survive.
The first time that I got arrested, I was like, I'm going where? Every time that I used to go in front of a judge, upper head female impersonation.
That was a charge?
Yeah.
Upper head female impersonation.
In 1969, Rivera took part in the Stonewall Inn riots and claimed to have thrown one of the first bottles. Looking back on that night, Rivera saw the moment as a turning point.
Everything clicked. We're gonna go for it.
The riots would inspire the organization of the gay rights movement that soon followed. But despite progress, Sylvia felt that the movement was not inclusive of the trans community, of poor people, or people of color. Sylvia forced her way to the stage in 1973 at a rally honoring patrons of the Stonewall riots and was booed.
You all tell me to go and hide my tail between my legs. I will not put up with this shit. I have been beaten. I have had my nose broken. I have been thrown in jail. I have lost my job. I have lost my apartment for gay liberation. And you all treat me this way? What the fuck's wrong with you all? Think about that.
In 1970, Sylvia and her best friend Marsha P. Johnson founded STAR, Street Transvestite Action Revolutionaries, a shelter and services center for homeless queer youth of color. Sylvia and Marsha used the money they made as sex workers to keep the house running, but eventually the building was sold and STAR never found a new home. Rivera struggled with homelessness and addiction for the rest of her life. She died of cancer in 2002. But her struggles were not in vain. Her fight continues with the Sylvia Rivera Law Project, a nonprofit that works to ensure the self-expression of all people. Her legacy is the modern LGBTQIA movement.